I've known Dave for 27, 28 years now, and it was an interesting first meeting, to say the least. I had met David in the Commissioner's Conference Room. We spent about an hour chatting. Had a very good conversation. We talked about our philosophies of healthcare and what was important to us. And at the end of the hour, I shook David's hand. I got up and I said to him, well, it looks like we're very simpatico on a lot of different points, and well, I'm sure we'll get along well. And David smiled at me and he said in his own inimitable way, things aren't always as they seem. And I wasn't quite sure how to take that, only having known him now for about an hour, but it kicked off a great relationship and a great friendship over all these years.
How long have I known Dave? It seems like 100 years, but I think I met him in the 80s, and I'll never forget sitting in a room with some of the other vice presidents saying, who is this guy? Because we didn't trust anybody that was not inside the organization. And I just don't mean the organization of St. Francis, the organization of healthcare. He really came, you know, he had outside, he was an EMT, so he certainly knew the language, but he really came in from his psychology background. Well, sure, that didn't sit well, right? Who is this guy?
Dave is Renaissance man. He does everything. I mean, he's an entrepreneur, he's a salesman, he's a teacher. Most importantly, he's a friend.
He's an entrepreneur. I mean, he sees things other people don't see. And he sees them in such a positive way. He convinces other people that there is only that way. Let's just go forward.
So he's a big idea person, and but he's definitely loves to mentor people, likes to find bright, smart people and draw them in and teach them as much as possible. He's a born teacher.
He has nurtured and mentored so many people over the course of the years that I've known him, and just really helped them to excel, probably to find skills that they didn't even know that they had.
He's very supportive of other people's work.
He really has tremendous respect for people and their areas of expertise.
He also knows how to bring people together and get consensus on an issue.
He's not really afraid of there being a lack of consensus. He's not afraid of conflict. And he's also not afraid to change. So he may have very strongly held opinions that he has reached after considerable thought, but as more data comes in, he moves.
He's really passionate about this stuff, and he's really well read, studies these issues all the time.
He's the most substantive person in the healthcare area that I know.
He is all over New Jersey behind the scenes, pushing and nudging organizations and people to do the right thing.
He's really able to look at the healthcare system and say, this is how we make it better, and he's done that.
In the late 80s, early 90s, quality in healthcare was something that I think only some were starting to really pay attention to in the depth that he understood it. And he got the right people to sit down and actually talk about what does quality really mean in the healthcare industry.
He has led the charge into quality medicine.
I would call him the Wizard of Oz, except he's a Wizard of Oz with substance. He can get Dorothy home, and well, and safe.
I think the biggest innovations have been twofold. One is driving transparency and public reporting of data, and the second has been pushing a dialogue in New Jersey about what businesses, about what New Jersey's residents and government leaders can do to make healthcare better for every resident, both more affordable as well as higher quality.
The fact that he turned the hospitals into, I'm not giving you that, into giving you everything, and wanting to compete and wanting to show that they've improved their data and improved their services.
It's navigating the political currents as well, and being able to work with new members, with older members, with new administrations that have different political flavor. He's been successful in navigating all that.
If I were to say what's his greatest attribute, he is fiercely loyal. Once he believes in you, once he sees you as a friend, he is unwavering in that. I don't know anyone who has that degree of loyalty.
His best advice he ever gave to me was the price of admission is a plan. Lots of people complain about things that aren't working, but Dave was insistent that you have to do your homework and you have to figure out what do you want. You can't just complain, you got to bring a solution.
To look at what could be rather than what is.
To not be afraid to pursue even challenging, complicated, controversial solutions.
Well, he doesn't play great squash, but we've played squash many times over the years, and I've learned lessons to not getting in his way when he took a backhand or a forward shot, because he sort of controls half the room.
He's a Red Sox fan, not a good thing. Has that Boston accent, can be annoying for a Yankee fan, but it's okay.
I know he's looking forward to jumping in that RV and traveling the country.
Dave Knowlton sitting at the lake or touring the United States in his RV and relaxing and not thinking about the next big thing in healthcare and who he has to call is something I have trouble envisioning.
I bet he'll end up on more boards and end up speaking at more conferences and doing more good in the world. So I'm excited to see what happens. He certainly deserves a rest and a break, but he doesn't stop, so I have a hard time imagining it.
And I too hope that he doesn't stay away too long from this business, and I don't think he will.
I hope he stays involved. And sometimes it's a lot more fun to do it on a volunteer basis. If you think you can be wild when you're not a volunteer, you can definitely be wild when you're a volunteer. And I want him to be wild in his retirement.
Well, retire, but don't retreat. Stay involved. So we thank you for all the things you've done. We thank you in advance for all the things you've yet to do.
And I think you've left the Quality Institute in a really good place in Linda's hands. You've chosen wisely, and I think it'll serve your legacy well.
I want to wish him tremendous health and success outside of the Quality Institute, and I'm sure he'll continue to get involved in projects in healthcare and all the other things he's interested in.
I certainly wish you the best. It's been fantastic working with you, knowing you.
I think together we've made a difference in the areas that we care a lot about, and maybe some more cigars at the cabin one day soon. So good luck, David, and you and Diane and the family deserve all this.
I want Dave to know that I'm going to do my best to continue his legacy and his vision, and that I'm going to choke up. I appreciate his trust and his friendship. I just feel very lucky that he put his faith in me, and I really will try to live up to that.
I want him to know how very proud I am of him. I'm proud of his accomplishments. I'm proud of the friendships he's developed, the talents that he's recognized in other people, and I'm proud of the father that he's been through a demanding career. I also want him to feel confident that there's an incredible journey ahead, and that I really look forward to being on that journey with him.